Good morning. I'm Malcolm Nance. Welcome to Black Man Spy, U.S. Iran Geopolitical Cast, Day 65 of the U.S. Iran war. Even though we are 2 weeks into a ceasefire, we are technically still in a state of armed conflict, as said by the Geneva Convention of 1949. No matter what Pete Hegseth says, ceasefires do not end your war, only peace treaties, agreements, or you could be like the United States, South Korea, and North Korea. You could be at a ceasefire for, what is it, like 85 years or 83 years or something in North Korea since the war never ended. There has never been a peace treaty. There has only been a ceasefire that has lasted forever. So, good morning to all of you, Illinois, Pittsburgh, Sydney, Denmark. I see Cincinnati. Good morning to all of you, or good day to everyone here. I'm already 2/3 of my way through my day here in the United Kingdom. For those of you who already figured out where I was, I cleared that up yesterday. In fact, tomorrow I am moving, and I will notify you sort of where I am in mid-afternoon tomorrow, which is 9 a.m. East time. With that, good morning, Jacob Kaarsbo, Danish intelligence officer extraordinaire, Middle East expert. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Or afternoon for you. You're at 3 o'clock,
Yeah, it's
right?
afternoon. Yeah. It's 3
Yeah,
o'clock.
you're 1 hour ahead of me.
Yeah.
And Wajeeh, the gay lion, reporting in from Minneapolis. Good, very early morning to you. It's 8 a.m., right?
It is 8 a.m. for me. That's right.
God, barely enough time to pick up the newspaper outside in your slippers and come in and sit down, and boom, next thing you know, you got to talk to the world. Terrible how that happens. Well, I have been up for some time. You can see from the bags under my eyes. I have not been getting a lot of sleep because of the craziness and madness in the world. And I had to go out this morning to a naval exhibition in along the southern English coast. That was very interesting. So, with that, let's take a moment to allow our followers to come up. If you are watching this in real time on Substack, please go down to that little hearts emoji down there and press that 10 or 15 times to get the algorithm to tell everybody, hey, this program is on, right? Otherwise, Wajeeh has to put on the black fez and get his big Hassan chop sword out. And it's Friday, Wajeeh, execution day. So,
Jum'ah Mubarak. Jum'ah Mubarak. Nice.
Baraka.
Nice.
No, Jama Katala. Katel Rasu. Okay. Well, we're already going to coffee mugs. Jacob has whipped out his CIA mug, his CIA I can't spell mug.
Yeah.
And Wajeeh, what are you rocking?
Made in China. Made in China.
Oh,
Made in China. Of course,
just
it's made in China. They wouldn't sell anything better. Ooh, that is very swanky. Are there like palm trees on that?
no, that's just the glaze that they put on, and it just looks like
Very
that.
graceful. Okay.
Glaze.
Well, I am still in Southern England, and I have this mug of the periodic table, which, sounds interesting. You're like, why is he rocking the periodic table? Because of where I am, the person who invented the periodic table is from this town. I don't know if you can read that. Humphrey Davies, right? Inventor of the periodic table, born in Penzance in 1778. I've been down here on the South Coast, by the way, not seen one pirate. But there is a place you can buy a pirate patch for your eye if you're 5 years old. So I'm feeling a little disappointed that I have not
I
yet
think
seen one pirate.
confused a pirate at this point.
And of course, I am having a tea because this is civilized, along with my stolen Walker stem ginger cookies, because that's the way I roll when I'm over here in the founding nation. Today is May 1st. And for those of you who don't know, it is the day the workers of the world unite, May 1st, which is International Proletariat Day, or in some places, Labor Day. And in the United States, oh, somebody just asked me about St. Ives. Paula, I'm going there for early dinner, right over that way, 7 miles. So 7 miles. And we went, I already went there. So I will be there. I was in Falmouth today at the National Maritime Museum. You will be seeing that on a Black Man Spy. I had a demonstration of a naval craft that I will put out in front of you, and also went by RNAS Kandlo, I think it is, Royal Naval Air Station, largest helicopter base in Europe. Let me tell you, if the Russians want to do some damage, fly some drones over there and crash into that place. It's got like 100 helicopters, Sea Kings and Merlins and all sorts of things flying around over there. That being said, but this is my last day in this area. I am transiting to another locale, and you will figure that out when I get there. But it is May 1st, and in the United States, it is the International We're Not Working for the King Day. So, as part of the No King protest, today is the day you're supposed to stay home. If you can't stay home, go to work and don't buy nothing that feeds into the system dominated by the man. So, but I can do that. I can have ginger stem cookies because these are made in Europe. So there you have it.
I celebrated May Labor Day by going 15 kilometers in the kayak.
Oh, you did?
15 Ks
Wow.
on the lake. Yeah.
That sounds fun.
I would like
I
to get out
just
there
had
too.
man.
It's just that
It's
this is
hard
ocean.
work. It's hard work.
when I was introduced to May Day, I was still grassroots organizing, with in Kansas City with the Missouri Jobs of Justice unions, and I got introduced to some really hardcore, union organizers that, opened my eyes up to this. When you come from the GCC, we don't have such thing called union. Uh,
Sure you do.
so we are literally recognized by the country as subjects by the law of the word, meaning you are a property, meaning they could do
Abed.
to you whatever they want.
Yeah, Abed.
And
Yeah.
that's and you mentioned Friday execution day. I witnessed my first execution going out of a Friday mosque for an afternoon prayer. One of the either it was in the afternoon, and I witnessed my first execution when I was 10.
Wow.
So
Okay.
it just
Wait.
kind of gives you an idea. It does happen. It used to happen in public all the time. Now
Was it a
that
man or
Saudi
a woman?
Arabia, 3 men, 1 woman.
What was the deal?
I
What were they charging?
believe drugs, which is could include alcohol or weed, and the punishment for dealing with drugs in Saudi Arabia is execution.
What about cut?
You mean
Chewing
hand?
Cut.
Cut. Chew it.
From Yemen.
Cut. That is kind of swept under the rug, not as major drugs because it's like largely used by people in the South for generation. So it's what are you gonna do?
You mean real drugs, mukhadrat?
I think the
Roger.
best analyst I ever employed at the agency was a white guy, a PhD, who had traveled a PhD in anthropology, and he had
Mhm.
traveled around Somalia and had been chewing cat with all these warlords, and he had survived traveling around Somalia as a white face. So I figured he'd be a good one, and he was probably the best I ever employed.
Oh,
And
wow, that's
I remember going to one of our big allies in the U.S. And there was this very posh lady looking after us, taking us out for dinner. We had a few drinks, and then he was telling her about how he used to travel around Somalia and chew the cat, and she was like shocked.
one of my favorite books. When I was in the military, I found this book, and it was by a British journalist whose wife was a diplomat, and she had been assigned to Yemen, South Yemen, and it was called Baghdad Without a Map. And it was all these hilarious stories while he was a house husband and slash journalist. And one day he was hanging out with his Yemeni buddies, and he goes, and they're trying to get him to try cotton. He goes, "Well, how do you know what's good? How do you know what's bad?" And he goes, "The only thing that ever motivated these guys was he said, let's go to the souk and let's buy a sample of all the cotton that they have," which is pronounced Khat. Some people say gut, some people khat, but they were like, suddenly he said they jumped up and they were like, "Yes, let's go." And they go to the souk and he buys 15 varieties of cod, Somali cod, Eritrean cod, all of this stuff, Yemeni high mountain, Houthi cod. And they'd sit down in a diwan and they just go, "Oh no, this is very bad spit," and then they're all high, him and five of his drivers or workers or whatever, and they all get insanely high from chewing cot. So that being said,
Before it turns
we're not
into
going to be doing any drugs.
a cat analysis, then let's get let's get going
Okay,
with wars and
we've
stuff.
reached 1,000 followers, so
Yeah,
we're not going to be doing any cot on this
the
show.
cat show.
The most you'll ever see on this show is a beer. And
But you can use it instead of mint in like a mojito.
oh, frick.
People told me.
No, let's not put a depressant with a depressant. That will you will be beyond mellow at that point. Okay. Good
Let's go.
morning. So, Wajeeh, can you give us an update on casualty count has not changed. No one has been killed, although the Israelis suffered 12 wounded. Price of oil. Ooh, a little dippy dip.
Why is this horrible charger not working
I
well?
don't know, but Brent, I see
Oh, sorry.
WTI crude is at 103, West Texas Intermediary.
That's
Brent
right.
crude is at 110. Bonds
Going
106.
up.
I don't know how that works. That's just sort of stable. Are those this morning's numbers? They're almost the same as
Yes.
yesterday. After a big jumpy
That is
jump
today's number.
where Brent reached 120 2 days ago and dropped down to 110. Okay, I can deal with that. West Texas Intermediary catching up. Reality versus paper is starting to close the gap. So thank you,
Again,
Wajeeh.
WTI usually is cheaper because it's worse quality oil than the rest of them. So it's kind of surprising that it's been that high for a minute. But the United
Everybody's buying it up from all over the world. They don't care what kind of oil you're getting now. They can take it to the proper refinery, no matter how shitty it is.
Exactly. You
Okay.
stole the words out of my mouth.
We will get back to oil in a little bit. Okay. Now, in the geopolitical sphere, significant activities. There are no real significant activities, but I have a regional list of significant activities because we are shifting not just to the Iranian report, but to a geopolitical report in which everything is now impacted. I went through it this morning. I was like, holy cow. Literally, this war is, I mean, if the fighting had started, but it is an economic world war. Let me put it that way. War fighting is limited to the Strait of Hormuz, in the Iran, in Lebanon, in the Gulf states, but the economic impact is murderous. So that being said, first, I wanted to go back to the ceasefire. Just 30 minutes ago, just in time for the stock market to open. Okay? The White House called Barack Ravid at Axios their favorite leaker. Okay, ... What am I going to say next?
The war is over.
No, it's
Iran
not that.
had sent a new peace proposal.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like clockwork, Friday, right? They want to get in all of this hopium, right? And then the market will look great this afternoon. West Texas Intermediate will drop down to 93. And then all weekend, Donald Trump will threaten murder, mayhem, and crisis. So all his buddies can buy oil at the dip today. And then over the weekend, it'll be so crazy. Monday, he'll say, we're going to bomb everybody. And suddenly oil will go back up to 120, and his buddies will be selling all the way up, making
By buddies,
bank.
I mean his son Baron.
Yeah, who sold $30 million of his fart coin, crypto coin. I can't even believe these words are coming out of my mouth. And who has been investing back and forth. I would not doubt for 1 minute that he was the insider trader or somebody who's working with him, cutting
Yeah.
trades for him on the basis of what his dad is calling him and telling him. I mean, him or Eric or Don Jr., one of them is out there making beaucoup d'argent, as they say in France, making a whole boatload of money. So the White House told Barack Ravid that Iran sent a counter proposal to their proposal. Now, I find this next section very interesting because I'm wondering whether these proposals are coming through Benjamin Netanyahu's office, right? If Barack Ravid's not sending these on to Tel Aviv and Tel Aviv is sending them back and saying, oh, we just got this from the Iranians, because it doesn't make any sense to me. According to this counter proposal, the two biggest sticking points are enrichment. Okay, I can roll with that. We can go with enrichment. And the status of Hezbollah. Now, why would that be a bigger sticking point than ballistic missiles, the Strait of Hormuz, the blockade, right? Things that, impact the life of every Iranian. Why would they go, no, put all that aside. Hezbollah is the most important thing after enrichment. I'm not sure I buy this. What do you guys think?
Well, one thing is for sure. The Iranians wouldn't send anything today that ran counter to what came out from Mustafa Khamenei only 24 hours ago.
Mm-hmm.
And that was why, regardless of who scripted the statement that was read out and allegedly from Mustafa Khamenei, when the Iranian system puts something like that out in his name, just forget that there's something that runs counter to it 24 hours
Ironclad.
later. Yeah.
Then again, it's said that this was transmitted via Pakistan. And I'm really starting, I mean, I hate to be racial about this, but I don't think the Trump people understand the difference between Pakistan and Iran, right? that
No, they don't.
something that comes via Musharraf, right, is not necessarily representative of the Iranian government if it's a projection,
I
And
bet
he
you
says,
even Trump didn't understand the difference between an Arab and a Persian before this war.
yeah, now you're going to throw
The
in,
real,
now you're going to
the
throw in
real,
these
the
Peshawari's, Lahoris. Ah, God, this is the worst watch section I've ever had to do. I swear. This is, you come in, you know that there's agencies collecting enormous amounts of information, and the national decision makers don't give two flips about this information that we in the watch section at the morning briefing are all debating and arguing about. Right?
Yeah.
Ah,
yeah.
Exactly.
The thing is, you were asking about whether Iran would ever have like their proxies on the second most important thing.
mhm.
I don't see that very far off. Well, the Iranian proxies, if they give up on one of them, the rest of the proxies
Yeah.
will recognize, like, will be like, damn, oh shit, like,
Yeah.
this is how you do us.
Uh,
We give up our people. This is how you treat us. So Iran totally understands that. So like the first thing they do is we are not gonna give up our nuclear weapons, and we ain't giving up our proxies. Those are
Right.
their biggest tools that they can use to whack anyone in the region.
Yeah.
Mhm. I think, on the other hand, I think Trump is lying.
Yeah.
I think these are the 2 points that Trump has an issue with, right? Because right now he has convinced himself that the Strait of Hormuz blockade is the greatest thing he's ever done. I mean, I'm still writing my Substack, which when we have that Substack, we're going to have a live paid viewers only who can comment, where I call this that the U.S. blockade on the Strait of Hormuz is technically economic homicide for the world. It's not even suicide, it's a homicide. Like,
Yeah.
he loves the idea that he's doing this to them, which means, does he think he's making like boatloads of money off of Venezuela or something? Somebody needs to run the numbers on where he thinks he's making an enormous amount of money, and that keeping the Strait of Hormuz closed to everybody is
Yeah.
the best thing that can happen.
Yeah.
Even if we wanted to get Venezuela up and running to the global standards, to
Another
the
$1 billion.
global demand numbers, it will take us years to get them to where we want them to be at. And the United States hasn't signed a deal with Venezuela's economy when it comes to pulling out. The UK has. The United Kingdom, yesterday or 2 days ago, just signed a deal with Venezuela, pulling out oil from Venezuela. But the United States hasn't done anything to benefit from there other than we kidnapped their leader and we brought him to the United States. And now we are just having a de facto ruler that we want to control in there as much as we want. But that's not benefiting us. Like, that's you are a spy. You understand the importance of perceived control.
Right.
Could you explain that to the viewer?
Well, I mean, it's everything that Trump is doing in Venezuela is perceived control, right? It's really not it's not even a diplomatic or espionage related event. It's a national delusion at the level of the National Command Authority that he has some deal that they worked out in secret with Delcy Rodriguez, the vice president of the country, who, by the way, is still billing herself as the vice president of the country. And the delusion is that Trump thinks he's president of Venezuela. And they had the Wikipedia page changed to say that Donald Trump was president of Venezuela. Not joking. Now, we all think that that's funny. Ha. Some guy went on Wikipedia. Donald Trump believes that he owns that country lock, stock, and barrel, right? And
Yeah.
so the perception is less to us than to him between point A on his right temple and point B on his left temple, and everything in between, which isn't much, okay, believes that he now controls how the world sees him. Whereas, right, controlled perception, a good example, the simplest example of that is what we all read as children, right? The Emperor's New Clothes. The whole world is, in order to ingratiate themselves with you, in order to get something out of you, will perceive whatever it is you perceive. Whether it's 3 Nazi army divisions or corps that, surrounding Berlin that could push the Soviets out, right? That was perception control, was him saying this stuff. And his most ardent followers believed it right up until he ate his bullet. Okay? I mean, people were out there like, let's die for Hitler. For Donald Trump, he leads a cult. And he has, I'll land it here. He has a cult, and that cult believes whatever he says it is. And the Russians referred to this as reflexive control or perception management.
Yeah.
Where they will guide you into that belief system and lock your happy ass there. And Trump, greatest, hottest economy in American history. The deficit is at the lowest it's ever been. Everybody, oil tankers are coming to America to give us money. The tankers are full of money, and they're giving it to us, and we're getting rich. And gas prices are at $1.90. It's mental illness.
He's openly stalking. He's openly going on in public events and saying, "Oh, Cuba is next. Please, media, please don't cover this. Don't cover." Did you see the video where he was saying, "Please, media, don't cover this. I'm about to say this. Please, media, don't cover this. Cuba's next. Cuba's next." And I'm like, motherfucker, you haven't been done with Iran yet, and you're thinking about Cuba?
Yeah.
But I think he realized that he can't make that same thing in Iran for what it's worth. After all, I think he's realized that.
Well, he is now finding that the price of oil no longer believes his perception of the world.
Yeah.
I think that it's sort of like when Lehman Brothers was going under, right? For those of you, I can't remember the name of the movie. But when Lehman Brothers was going under, they just refused to believe it until hard numbers that the middle senior managers knew were impossible. They could not be fudged. You could not rake the math. But that required you to believe in math. Okay? We're in a fantasy world where when Pete Hegseth, we're going to talk about his performance. I'm going to be doing a rant about Pete Hegseth and
rant away. That's
the
definitely.
fantasy factory that man has manufactured in his head is weird. Right?
Did
and
you
my
hear
problem
about
is
Dark Eagle?
What?
Dark Eagle. Have you heard about Dark Eagle?
Dude, of course it's on the list.
Okay.
We only got 8 of them. 8 of these hypersonic missiles. And they're like, let's get them into battle. It's like, okay. I am all for combat development, getting things out to make sure that they work. We only got 8 of them. Those 8 should be fired as test bed weapons. They should. What happens if we fire? These are hypersonic missiles. Missile, you launch it off of a super special $400 million trailer. Each one of these missiles is, if I'm not mistaken, they're for $45 million per missile. And we only have 8 of them. They go up into space and they come down super, super fast. They're a glide vehicle and they can be maneuvered. And the purpose of them was because our newest ground attack missile, the precision strike missile, can only go out 500 kilometers. And the Iranians just moved all of their missile launchers out of range. They're sitting on the Afghan border, the Turkmen border, the Baluch border, and the Khorramshahr 4 ballistic missiles, which we're looking at, right? And I'm sure on the top of several of those missiles is like in Farsi, catch me if you can, Chuck you Farley, Kilroy was here, because they know the satellites are looking at them and can read them, right? And so, go, you know, truck frump, things like that are on the missiles, just to give the guys at National Geospatial Intelligence some fun things to look at in the middle of the mid-watch. And they know that they can't get them because if you send a fighter aircraft, that's a 2.5-hour flight. Okay. Yep. I mean, they could wait for the last 30 minutes to hide. Drones are going to get shot down. They can't be persistent, even some of our space-based assets. So Hegseth wants to bring these over to the theater, these Dark Eagle, hypersonic missiles, in order to strike the Khorramshahr 4. Yeah, you can maneuver, but every minute that truck is mobile, right, is a minute there's a radius circle around him that expands in every direction. And if I were the Iranians, I'd have 20 separate hide shelters, 15 of which are filled with dummies, and I would just let them destroy all 8. I would label my trucks 1 through 8. I didn't dare them. I fucking dare you, number 1, to see if hypersonic, will come out there. So it's craziness. Go ahead, Jake.
No, yeah, well, the whole performance in Congress by Hegseth was is crazy. It's crazy. I haven't even watched it all, but
Okay.
it's just the stupidest. I don't know what to say.
That was actually the number 2 item under my USA North America section. But as long as we're here, go ahead, Wajeeh.
The battery that actually, the cost of the battery is actually above $1 billion, not
for a
$400
missile
million.
battery for one full squadron of these missiles and launchers.
Yeah.
You know what? And they're, where they're going to be stationed, right? They're going to be stationed in Israel. Because apparently we're moving all of our forces to Israel. There's a lot moving around, and it looks like
because they're getting evicted.
Yeah. It's like being a hobo. It's like being homeless, right? And the only guy that takes you in. So anyway, Pete Hegseth's performance, I don't want to go much further into it.
No.
All I know is this. He doesn't seem to know anything about the Department of Defense, or war as he calls it, right? His whole attitude is double fingers up to anyone that questions any of his authority. And then by coming out and saying the Democrats are the greatest enemy of the United States. And here's where my rant that I'm not going to do now, it'll be on the official Black Man Spy. It'll be a Now Hear This. Because when I get mad, I get pretty freaking mad. And I listened to that and I thought, this is why I didn't run for Congress. Because I could not be on the Armed Forces Committee. I would need to be on Armed Forces. I said this to them. I need to be on House Intelligence and Armed Forces. They were like, oh, well, we might be able to get you on intelligence, but that would be a long shot. I was like, what do you put me on the fucking agriculture committee? And they were like, yeah, your district has a lot of cows. I was like, no, it doesn't work like that. But anyway, I said, I found out I can't say this. I can't have Pete Hegseth say, you Democrats in Congress are the biggest enemies of the United States. And I can't go in and go, Mr. Secretary, is it true that you think that there are other threats out there that are less than the Democrats in the United States? See, I can't do that. And I said this when I was on with Jennifer Welch from I've Had a Podcast. My response would be, are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking sitting here before the House of Congress, founded in 17 goddamn 75? Are you fucking kidding me? I'm the greatest enemy? Oh, I'm sorry. Did you fire 1,000 J-Dams in the last year at House Democrats? Ya dick. See, I couldn't say that. I can't say that. So why should I go to Congress when I can't, publicly excoriate him and turn to the camera and go, this man's a fucking moron and he should be out of this job. Resign before my time is up. You dildo. See, you can't do that. I would get censured and kicked out of Congress. It would be entertaining, but
it would.
What was that senator that was very famous? You can wait until hell freezes over.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's the worst. That's the no. I would be when he would start off with that bullshit, right? Every other second I'd go reclaiming my time. And when he does his little rant, it would be shut the fuck up, sit the fuck down, Major. I'm sure we have some trash on the highway you and your guard unit can go clean up after a hurricane. See, you got to put that fucker in his place. Secretary of War, right? Secretary of War. See, now you got me on the rant I was going to do. Let's move on from this. All right.
No, but
in other news in the United
that
States.
whole thing for this podcast, Malcolm, that whole issue of the 60 days and Hegseth claiming that when you have a ceasefire, it just goes to show, they don't even know the most obvious of international law, the Geneva Conventions, etc., etc. So it's just.
That's another thing I would have to rant to him on. Because him coming out and wanting to redefine what 60 days is and that ceasefire, I'd be like, can you read, young Major? Can you read? Are you literate? Well, yes, I'm literate. Well, it fucking doesn't seem like that, you goddamn, shut the F up, sit the F down, send me your deputy who went to high school, and let's talk about what the word ceasefire means. You got a general? You just shame him. I would shame the hell out of him. They would be like, oh shit, Nance is on C-SPAN today. and here's hold on. Here's how C-SPAN would go. Good morning. This is C-SPAN. This morning's hearings on the Secretary of Defense. First, the representative from New York 19, Malcolm Nance. Mr. Major, and I want to boop, and you better that's what C-SPAN would sound like. Suddenly, everybody would be tuning into C-SPAN. It'd be like the number one rated show in America.
They would, multiply by 1,000 the viewers.
Yeah, and by the way, behind him, before we finish, behind him was sitting the Master Chief Petty Officer of the Navy, who's EOD or he's a SEAL or somebody, right? Right? And because I saw his jump wings, he's got like 32 years or something. And I would have said, Master Chief, is this dick with you? I shit you not. Recalibrate this dumbass, right? Shut your dumbass major mouth up. I'm talking to senior enlisted here. Master Chief, how much have we spent on this war? $50 billion, Mr. Secretary, Mr. Representative. Or don't call me representative, call me senior chief when we're sitting here. because this is hard reality time. It would be fucking hilarious. I can't run for Congress because that's my platform. I kick your ass.
No. I'm sorry. You have to run for Congress. Honorable Hakim Jafri, my friend Chuck Schumer, I have a demand for you. We need this dude. There are few people in America that speak the truth. Not too many people that are afraid of public image. Not too many people are afraid of yelling. We have one that is ready. We have one that is ready to do the job for you. Put him where he's supposed to be at. Put him in Intelligence Committee. Put him in Homeland Security. He will put it straight for you. I promise you. If he doesn't,
because you know what the
we
fun
need
thing is,
someone like that.
if I give a speech, it would be like the speech the President Camacho gives in the movie Idiocracy, right? Where he comes up and he goes, "I know things are bad and shit." And you see the Chiron and it's going up, "I know things are bad and shit." That's the exact words they want us to read. Are you fucking kidding me? Would be the first words out of my mouth. You know? So anyway, let's move on and get to questions. Africa region. I want to talk about this. Zambia announced that as of 30 April, they have run out of all USAID previously supplied AIDS medication and that they are expecting an explosion of HIV AIDS in their country. That included, by the way, the condoms that we were giving them and AIDS prevention medications and retrovirals. Gone. Donald Trump murdering people in Zambia. And you can be sure the leaders of Zambia are like making up a gold statue to give Trump or something. Absolutely disgraceful. Next, in sub-Saharan Africa, the Russia withdrawal is almost complete out of the entirety of northern Mali. They are just giving northern Mali to the Tuareg tribes and Al-Qaeda. And I am still waiting. I haven't seen them yet, but I am still waiting for French airport transals to start moving large numbers of paratroopers. When it comes, the only way we're going to know it is you're going to start seeing parachutes fall out of the sky. And I wouldn't be surprised if there were advanced teams in Bamako right now of the Malian government officials with their Louis Vuitton suitcases flying to Marseille. Because you know when your country collapses and you're francophone, you're supposed to steal all the money you can, and then you're supposed to fly to Monte Carlo. But the closest you can get is, Toulouse. So, no, not Toulouse, Marseille.
Marseille. Yeah.
Then you got to drive to Monte Carlo with the gold bricks in the back of your truck.
You can actually go to Nice.
Nice. Oh, yeah. You can go to Nice. That's closer.
Yeah.
Because the Italians won't let you in, but the French got gold bricks.
Not as shady as Marseille, but...
Yeah, that was the old days when dictators would take their money and just leave and go to the French Riviera and, play Baccarat, for 5 years. Not anymore. So now...
the Negresco Hotel in Cannes.
The Malian government is making noises that they want the United States to assist in this intervention, which I wouldn't be surprised if Trump did it. If they said, okay, you give us 80% of whatever you have in your country, yellow cake uranium or phosphates or whatever it is, camel dung and bridal fattening clinics, by the way, which are a real thing.
Yeah, because that's the big difference between France and the US. France can't go in because there's no legitimate government to save. And for the Trump administration, well, this crook, this captain that made the coup and is corrupt as hell, we can work with him.
Yeah, well, what are you going to give us? All right. It's transactional politics now. Next thing you know, it's like, oh, we got special forces and AC-130s. That's probably we're going to see 3,000 paratroops drop in. Have to fly from Jordan. In oil news.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
You were questioning why the French wasn't involved. I was actually thinking about that earlier. Is it because they're also thinking about getting involved in the Strait of Hormuz? And does it affect the fact that they might want to get involved in the Strait of Hormuz?
No, I don't think the two
No.
things match at
Oh,
all.
I
That's a
don't think,
francophone country.
and I think the big problem is because of the last coup and what has happened. The French, there's nothing to save. So they
that's
need
also
someone with a bit of legitimacy to put in there, and not save this super corrupt captain of the army.
No,
makes
interesting.
sense.
Well,
It's-
super corrupt. Game knows game, right? If
Yeah,
Trump sees that he could actually, with a couple of hundred special forces, rangers, and expeditionary training unit people, the thing is, you don't need to train those guys. In the town of Tisane and in Kidal, the Russians abandoned the Malian troops to
yeah.
be executed. The guys that they were training and partnering with. The United States, we only just send them back to Democratic Republic of Congo after they've been adjusted to Burger King.
And I got the map here. I got the map. Kidal is up here. It's this
Yeah.
whole area. Timbuktu
Holy
here.
cow.
Gao
Bamako's
here.
way down there. Full
Yeah.
disclosure, I got a t-shirt from Bamako. So I've never been to the north. Help me, Jesus. This is just, the world is on fire, which is why it's the geopolitical report now. All of it stems from the U.S.-Iran. Speaking of which, oil. Pakistan has opened 6 land routes, not just for oil. I read that one 20 million barrel oil shipment that would be carried on one super tanker would take 8,000 truck lifts, 8,000 tankers to bring that to Pakistan. Apparently, these 6 land routes are bringing containers. Mainly, they have not established the oil pipeline, the oil networking for that. But Pakistani trucks are going into Iran. They are going by truck across the border into a truck exchange, going on and moving on to Pakistan. So that's what's going on the Pakistan border. 6 routes into Iran, into Iran and Pakistan. Iran has announced that they have 20 tankers trapped in the port of Chabahar, which is on the Pakistan route. I would not be surprised if this is where you're going to see a lot of small craft ship-to-ship transfers, very close to Karachi, Pakistan. That oil is just sitting there waiting for us to take it, right? Whoever goes over there in defiance of a U.S. Navy blockade, which, by the way, is one ship, right? You got money to be made there. If I was the Iranians, I would just do a mass breakout, and I would send one ship empty directly towards the U.S. warship, or one ship full towards the U.S. warship, and see the other 19 get out to Karachi.
And you have Chabahar here and Karachi here.
Right there, right next
and
to each other.
Strait of Hormuz here. So, Chabahar is the very eastern part of Iran.
Yeah. In Asia, and then we'll go to Europe. In Asia, the Japanese claim that the Chinese are carrying out massed simulated drone attack drills on U.S. bases in Japan. What do you think about that? Just tell me somebody that didn't learn their lesson. They apparently learned their lesson.
Yeah. Just like the Iranians, they are learning from the Russian war experiences in Ukraine. I would imagine that's the case, and that's why they maxed out to develop these similar capabilities. And they're surely also watching how the Americans deal with what the Iranians have been throwing at them in the Middle East, and probably feel pretty good about themselves.
Yeah. I mean, look, the Chinese could probably launch 20, 30,000 drones in a day.
Yeah.
Right? And that would devastate Okinawa, Sasebo, And I like the idea that they've let out that they're doing these drills on U.S. bases. And apparently, China has mock ups of these bases in the deserts and have reconfigured all the aircraft like they saw in Saudi Arabia and other places.
Yeah.
They're quick on the draw. They're going to learn those lessons.
Yep.
And finally, we're going to talk about Ukraine and Europe. Apparently, Germany is the greatest enemy to democracy, or at least Donald Trump. But in Ukraine, Donald Trump had yet another 1 hour phone conversation with Vladimir Putin. And apparently, Putin has offered to negotiate a ceasefire with Iran, but he wants a ceasefire with Ukraine to be carried out on May 9th. What is May 9th, gentlemen?
That's the victory day from the Second World War that the Russians celebrate, and where this year they won't display all their hardware because all their hardware is being destroyed in Ukraine. So for the first time for years and years and years and years, there won't be any military hardware on display at the Kremlin parade.
Yeah, they're going to have kids and rescue dogs and all sorts of crazy shelter dog parade. It'll be just hilarious.
To all our viewers, you can find the memes on the web about the Russian victory parade this year.
Well, Russia is terrified that Ukraine would launch another 10,000 drone mass strike on the parade targeting military equipment. Right? So you could see the red in the middle of the parade, air raid sirens going off, air defense units that are arrayed around the Kremlin would start shooting. That would be something to see. I have been waiting my whole life for that. So Vladimir Putin didn't ask Zelensky, he asked Donald Trump to get Zelensky to negotiate a ceasefire for May 9th.
Yeah.
Tell me this guy
Trump
owned by Russia.
Trump was making that statement as if it was a big deal.
Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's day 65. It's now time for your questions. And there were some interesting comments like, what is it? Rare Lightmare said, "Come on, Malcolm, we have a malignant narcissist racist who is now throttling Black American power. Is it possible? If so, there are 6 billion Black and brown people versus 800 million whites. Economic suicide would be the weapon." In other words, Trump is committing economic homicide, not suicide, against the rest of the brown world, which would include those Asian people. To tell you the truth, I think he's that malignant. But I really think it's about him and his friends making some money, and that's it. Nothing more, nothing less.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to the questions. Pete Vanderholt says, the primary question is, how effective is the blockade, and can it be made more effective? Discuss. Well, most of the blockade is being affected by aircraft that are going out, and they are selectively targeting with warships that can close fast enough to do it. If I were the Iranians, that's why we've seen breakouts happen before, right? Where groups of ships have just headed literally in every different direction in order, they figured out where the concentration is. They put out some ship on the AIS, the Automated Information Service, showing your ship is headed towards that U.S. warship. And maybe while it high speed runs 2 or 3 hours over to that spoof place, you could have 19 ships get out. The problem is when you turn your engines on and it turns hot in Chabahar, we see that. And that would give them, the U.S. Navy, time enough to start putting interceptors in there. But if you could get out 18 out of 20 ships, that's a pretty good deal. Okay, can it be more effective? Yeah, if you bring more ships, and we don't have the ships to bring. Mark Schroeder says, why do pirates wear eye patches? Hint, it's not because They lost an eye. I know why they wear eye patches. Bro, surface warfare qualified, submarine qualified. Every night when I had to pull watches, getting my submarine qualifies, I had to wear an eye patch. That is to keep your night vision in one eye. And you generally do that an hour to a half hour before you go on watch. And you use the periscope eye. There you are, salty. That would also give you extra strength when looking out there on your telescope, especially where I am right now, which this place should be full of pirates. None here. But also strategic air command bomber pilots, War One during early parts of the Cold War. Yeah, that was for night vision. Okay, M6J20 M6J2 Bravo says Trump. Jesus, don't be bringing stuff up at the end of the show. It says Trump is posting the Strait of Trump. Somebody, hold on. I think somebody. Let me just move you on to the next question. Somebody look up the Strait of Trump post. I know it's stupid. Aaron says, Malcolm, has the military gone to stop loss yet? That's where they stop letting go people like me, right? Cryptologists, people who are Farsi linguists, people who are critical skills, SEALs, paratroopers, things like that. No, they have not instituted stop loss because that would acknowledge that we are having and are at WAR. And they don't want to do that. So maybe they'll do that for the Cuban War. I don't know. Okay. Wow. Do you guys have any last comments? That was it. Just a few questions today.
Yes.
It's Friday. Everybody should be taking Friday off anyway. We've got about 500 less watchers than usual. And that's good. I think that's a good thing.
I've been doing a lot of reviews on the statistics for people who are watching. I know half of you are cheating, where you are joining the live stream, not subscribed to Malcolm, not subscribed to Jacob, not subscribed to me, watching and then leaving. How dare you?
They're just okay. Well, for that, everybody who is up now, there's 1,400-ish of you up there. Press that rondelle, that little gray thing at the top that says Black Man Spy, and up from the bottom will jump Jacob Kaarsbo, Wajeeh Lion. If it says remove, don't do it. If it says subscribe, press those two buttons and then press the one for me. And that way you can become a subscriber and get notifications of when this is happening. 1 second. I have to. So, if you're watching this live on Substack, thank you very much for all of you who are watching this live on Substack, especially you paid subscribers who are enjoy being able to chat with each other. We got quite a community of paid subscribers. You guys are having a grand old time. I watch your comments. If you see me looking down, I'm looking at your comments, and half the time I'm giggling. So you'll enjoy being able to chat with others and ask questions. And, even in the paid subscribers, if you're willing, we can actually bring you up on camera on the paid subscriber chats if you're willing to do a video question and expose yourself in your nice backdrop to whoever it is. That being said, if you're watching this on YouTube, then it's not live. You're one of the people that will be watching this in a couple of hours after I download it from Substack. Then I have to upload it back to YouTube. There's a big fault going on with Substack automatically uploading to YouTube. So if you're wondering why it's now showing up after noon on East Coast time, that's the reason. I have to literally download it, upload it. Then it has to be checked. But please come over to malcolmnance.substack.com. Become a free subscriber. I am still trying to reach 100,000 subscribers on Substack. Please share this with everybody. Just go onto notes and go, hey, everybody, follow Malcolm Nance, Jacob Kaarsbo, Wajeeh Lion. They need to get to 100,000 subscribers so that our algorithm can bring us up to being number one in world politics, which I doubt because it's like mass news organizations are there. Yes.
And I need to go to 10,000. I'm a humble Dane,
Halas.
not many Danes on Substack, but I'm approaching 10,000. So
You have more than the
look out
king,
on
I'll
that.
bet.
And I just want, I had that map from Mali because I did like a paid subscribers thing last night. I think I messed up the link, so it ended up being a free night anyway. Doesn't matter. But what happened was I had to confess that I've never been to Mauritania. And I had been invited to go to Mauritania with a choir.
Wait, what?
When go to Mauritania with a choir?
Said that she was going to Mauritania with a choir. So
what?
A
Danish viewer, an American viewer?
I think it was an American, I believe.
They're bringing gospel to Mauritania?
It was super hilarious, but I have to say, traveling with a choir would probably not be a good fit. They would make me look like a real idiot. So I'm not going to Mauritania this time around, although I've heard Nouakchott is mighty dusty.
It's
for some reason, if I see you on a trip with a choir, the first thought will come to my head, he must be on a mission.
Alas, you'll come back with a 200-kilogram
as
woman.
A spy. We got this when it's with a choir, it's super dubious.
Yeah, well, you will come back with a 200-kilogram second wife, because in Mauritania and Mali are the two famous countries, particularly Mauritania, where bride fattening clinics are. And if you guys ever get to read my fiction spy adventure novel that I wrote called No Spies Like Us, Mauritanian bride fattening clinics factor in very seriously. And you can always tell Mauritanians, they are huge. They put them in these clinics and they shove camel milk down their throats all day for weeks so that the brides can have more babies.
Just one travel, really a hot tip here for traveling. For all our lady viewers, if you want to feel tiny and slim and beautiful, go to the Cuddle Puddle Spa in Swaziland. The Swazi women are humongous.
No. I can save all of you the trouble and the trip of flying to Johannesburg and going down to Swaziland. Just go into any Walmart and you feel awesome about yourself.
No, the Cuddle Puddle Spa in Swaziland.
Cuddle Puddle. I want proof. Anyway, thank you.
My wife has been there. It's true.
Okay. I am now literally astounded, and now I want to go. So, just in case any of you make it down there, or if any of you, by the way, if any of you are high value personages and you're in London and you want to buy me drinks, feel free to contact me through the chat. But I'm saying that because a friend of mine is a very well-known Brit. He is leading a group of high-value personages from the United States on a tour of London and the War Museum and everything. And do you think he invited me? No, he did not.
What?
Anyway, I got to look at boats and drones and things. So I will continue on. Take care. We will see you tomorrow this time. And enjoy your May 1st day off. Don't be buying nothing. Eat what's in the cans. Or if you use DoorDash or something like that, tip your DoorDasher triple. Okay? Take care. We'll see you all tomorrow. Fin my love.
See you, everyone.
Yeah, my dog.
Bye-bye.